This meeting's called order. Roll call.
Carr,
Yeah.
Miller,
Here.
you, here.
Certification of compliance with the open meeting laws. The meeting been posted.
Yes,
The
I
door is
hope,
open. Is the door unlocked?
I hope so, or we wouldn't be in here. I posted, I'm asking about when I post on, I posted on Friday the 7th at 6:30. You know, well, everybody's been coming
Okay. Public comment?
And Laskowski, and 335 Tamarack. I'm going to read my email that I wrote to the town board for everyone. To the town board, a lot of items have come and gone on the agenda lately, and I think it's time to resurrect an item that has been swept under the carpet, so to speak. That being the issue of the outstanding money from the charitable donations to the Palmyra Volunteer Fire Department Incorporated for a thermal imaging camera. Let me refresh your memories and bring some facts to light. The fundraiser took place in July and August 2011, sponsored by the Palmyra Volunteer Fire Department Incorporated to raise funds for a thermal imaging camera and additional equipment. There was $5,900 raised from community donations and deposited into a bank account held by the Palmyra Volunteer Fire Department Incorporated, whose registered agent is Brian Hackett, Fire Chief. In December 2011, the Joint Fire District dissolved and the village started operating a municipal fire department, of which the former volunteer group chose not to affiliate with. The former group, headed by Mr. Hackett, left with the checkbook for the account containing the donated funds from the July fundraiser. During the following months to present, numerous constituents made several informal attempts to find out from the former volunteer group exactly what happened to the donated funds, but answers are not forthcoming. Certified letters were sent to Brian Hackett, Fire Chief of the former volunteer group, asking for the return of the funds to either the Palmyra Fire and Rescue Department or to the individual donors. No formal response has been received to date. Our town chairman, Larry Cow, was contacted numerous times in June, October, and November 2013 by constituents asking for intervention on the town's behalf. And to his credit, he did contact the Wisconsin Towns Association and the League of Wisconsin Municipalities, who with their response agreed with the state statute listed below. However, to my knowledge, no further action is taken by Larry or the board to obtain what is rightfully the town's money in the amount of $2,950. I am referencing state statute 66.0608, subparagraph 4, ownership of funds notwithstanding an ordinance enacted under subparagraph 2, volunteer funds shall remain the property of the municipality until the funds are dispersed. I'm attaching a letter for your review from the Village of Palmyra dated January 20th, 2014 to Brian Hackett asking for their half of the funds. I believe it is in our town's best interest to pursue the other half, which is rightfully the town's money per state law, and have it used to offset current fire department equipment costs or donate it for public safety. I'm also attaching a copy of the webpage from the Jefferson County Clerk of Courts for your review, as there is also the option to pursue this matter in small claims court at minimal cost to the town. Perhaps Deb Muth, as head of the Public Safety Fire Committee, can intervene on behalf of town constituents with the former volunteer group. Either way, this is an issue that refuses to go away, and I ask that, as a town taxpayer, for the town board to pursue action on the town's behalf to recoup this money. It is a disservice to those who contributed for this fund not to pursue it. bottom line, please put this on the agenda for the March town board meeting, thank you. And then I just added some additional questions and comments. I believe that at least when someone sends communication, be it a telephone call or an email, a simple yes, I received it, or thank you, or just an acknowledgement of receipt, rather than no response at all is requested. Basically what that sends is kind of a subliminal message that says, you know what, I don't have any interest in you or your subject. And I find that it's a tad bit on the discourteous side. I would also like to see the town board set a tone of leadership and pursue the $2,950 that is rightfully the town's per statute. And I ask where the loyalties lie within our board to the constituency with regards to the issue. Whether or not you have personal ties or personal opinions with regards to the former volunteer group or not, you're basically elected to represent the town taxpayers, and this money is rightfully the town's and really shouldn't be ignored. It doesn't make a difference if it's $2, $200, $2,000, $200,000. There are principles involved with this issue, and it really needs some resolution, not avoidance. Small claims court is a cost savings option, and which I did mention in the email, and I wanted to go on record that I'm willing to assist the board as far as helping in any way I can. If you so choose to help bring the issue to a close, I want to help be a problem solver. I don't want to sit here and complain and then not offer any services to help you guys try to resolve the issue. So, in summary, I'm asking this item to be put onto the April agenda, and that Larry Cow and Deb may call me next week to discuss this issue so informed decisions can be made by the board at the April meeting on behalf of constituents who in good faith donated the money. Thank you.
Thank you. I anticipated your concern tonight, and I'm going to ask Tom Levi to explain to you what the board's position and what the board has done about your problem. Tom.
Thank you. Yes, I was asked to respond to this, and we have looked into it. And the town board has elected not to pursue the money for various reasons. Number one, small claims court is an option. But to collect $2,900, the attorney's fees might be higher due to the fact that the volunteer firefighters have various claims against both the village and the town that they have asserted, and I've seen written documentation from Chief Hackett, or former Chief Hackett, back in 2012, regarding return of their uniforms and personal gear, regarding return of employee personnel files, and other items that the town board directed me, after we did meet in closed session regarding some of these issues as possible litigation, to write a letter to the village, which I did in August of 2013.
I have a copy of that letter.
So you've seen that letter, and we
I
addressed...
did, and basically, in response to your comments, the fire department, at the point when these donations were made, were with the village and the town.
Right,
so
the fire
this is an
district.
after fact with all of this equipment, so that's why there's the focus on the pursuit of this money. Apparently there's some other underlying circumstances that haven't come to light with the closed session meetings and these other comments, so please feel free to share.
Sure, I think it's sufficiently resolved that there's no need for retaining that in closed session. I talked to Chairman Cowell about that. It was decided that we would address those issues with the village and say the town had no interest in pursuing any issues regarding the former fire district or the volunteers due to the fact that the town did not want to get embroiled in litigation of a rather personal kind of nature with the various volunteer firefighters, and they're exerting their principles with the village and the town The village elected to retain that personal property and sold it, I believe, at auction for something like $500 or $600. And the town had nothing, we said, we don't want any of that, that you can keep it all. And you can keep all the problems that are gonna go with it, if those are asserted. When one does start litigation, they have a forum. So rather than give them a forum for them to counterclaim back, it was decided that we would not pursue it for the $2,900. It was just too risky. I also consulted with Stan Riffle, the village attorney. He agrees with me wholeheartedly and indicated he would advise the village they should not pursue it at all because of these same issues. So both the village's attorney and I are on the same page in that regard, that this would not be judicious to pursue in view of the fact that it could trigger counterclaims that would push it into large claim action in civil court in Jefferson County. Furthermore, I did look into it a little bit further with Paul Erke, who was one of the former volunteer firefighters. Mr. Erke had stated that the money is still being retained in that checking account, and that any donor, citizen or otherwise, who gave money to the thermal imaging fundraiser would get their funds back if they tender a canceled check or a receipt or some proof of payment.
That's funny, because I tendered a canceled check when I sent my letter to Brian Hackett. I have not received a response, and I have not received my money, so that's a bunch of hooey.
Have you gotten a certified, when you sent it certified, did you get something signed
I
from
did,
Brian?
and I have that with me, and I have my letter with me, and I have a copy of my canceled check with me. So therefore, he's handing you a line of crap.
Well, this is Mr. Erke, who is not the former chief, but he is.
Right.
with
Somebody's
the fire
handing
department.
you a line of crap.
I also asked for my money back and never got a response.
Okay. Well, that's their position. Now, I guess, one additional thing, and I'm aware of that statute, 660608, the town could assign their rights in this money to the affected donors, and then you could pursue it on your own in small claims court or whatever. The town could, under the statute, assign its right back to the donors, since it's technically your money. The town doesn't want to put taxpayers' money in their own pockets if it's not necessary. But giving you whatever impetus you want to do to pursue this on your own behalf. This could be assigned by a written assignment, a simple little one-page assignment to the named individuals. If you have the names of the individuals, there's two of them here. Okay.
I got the
We could
whole
assign it
list.
to everybody, all of them, to pursue it, not as a class action necessarily. You could all be plaintiffs and join in, but you could pursue it in small claims court. And that's another option. So regardless of what response we're getting from the former volunteer fire department, I would recommend to the town that they would assign whatever interest they have in those monies to the citizens group, and you can pursue it.
And another question, has anything been pursued as far as a criminal case? Because you go around, collect $5,000, and now you're sitting on $5,000, and you're not doing anything with it. You're not a fire department, you're not affiliated with any towns.
When the fire department disbanded, there were a lot of loose ends. And those loose ends are still out there. Statute of limitations is not run on them. So I don't think it rises to the level of criminal action if the money is still there. They are just holding it pending whatever resolution of those issues happen, or the statute of limitations run, and then they might pocket it, I don't know. But the town could assign this to the citizens group, and they could then pursue it. But that's what's happened, and that's everything to date. So there has been some action taken to explore these possibilities, but it was decided by the town board to be more expedient and not expend more money going after funds that are held by the other party and try to get back to them.
town funds held by the other party. Couldn't the town donate the $2,900 to the fire department, the current fire department?
But these are funds
That were
donated by you,
collected.
by citizens. So it's a donated kind of thing. I agree that since they went into the fire department, 660608, Grant 4 applies, but,
But the district attorney in Jefferson County says the money belongs to the municipality, no longer to the donors. We don't own it anymore. You guys do, you as our town board and taxpayers and the village. So we don't own it. That's why.
Would you be satisfied if the town assigned you their right to that money? Would you be satisfied with that? Because the town has no interest in pursuing it for the reasons that we've given. Would you be happy to have the town assign the donors the right to the 2,900?
Can I table the issue until?
Because
We can
we like to move along. So
Yes, I understand that, I
Okay.
understand.
But
So
we
I-
did.
Ultimately, she doesn't have the choice to decide what the town board decides to do. The town board is the one that has to decide what we're going to do
I
with
just
the
asked her if
funds.
it would satisfy.
I know, but I'm just saying, it's the board's decision, it's not their decision what happens.
Thank you.
So,
So we can table it and we can,
But the
we can bring it back
town,
up on public comment if you want next month, after you've done some.
thank you.
Mr. Rowland,
I have a couple items. Mr. Chairman, I am making an open records request for the following 3 items. I'm directing it to you because your staff are the people directly involved in it. Item 1, the 2013 Airport Statement of Project Intentions for the 6-year Airport Improvement Program, including the board-approved resolution as required by the Bureau of Aeronautics. I would like that documentation. Number 2, the current executed contract for the airport manager. I understand that that was approved, subject to a few fine tweaking of a couple of words.
we have it tonight to sign.
Okay, all right. Number 3, and I'd like a copy. Number 3, any opinion written by the town attorney concerning section 6010 2F of the Wisconsin statute concerning the requirement for the town board to gain authorization from the electorate prior to building town-owned buildings. After verbally making this public records request to the board, I'll provide Wendy and you a copy of my pages. The 4th item, I would also like to request that this board create a policy that states that the first course of action for legal opinions relative to statutes and statute-related questions would be the Wisconsin Towns Association, since there is no additional charge for their opinion. If you don't like their opinion, you're still welcome to go to your town attorney. Okay?
Very good. Thank you. Okay, minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes, but I have a question about the minutes.
Okay.
I'd like to know if the action taken to get records from the previous clerk was conducted by Chairman Kaw and the town clerk in this past month.
I stopped by Kathy, and she said she had given all the records. All she had was her personal computer with her own personal things on it.
So then I'd like to know why you didn't take the clerk with it, since the motion was for you and the clerk to go together to receive items that were missing. And the clerk was not asked to go with you at that meeting.
I guess I missed the point that we were supposed to go together. I
And then
stopped
my
us there.
other issue regarding that is if she doesn't have documents, then I'd like to know where a box of documents came from that are in the back room.
Yeah.
Did you obtain
Ballots.
those from Kathy?
Yeah, there was ballots that also are on the desk that weren't there before.
I didn't put any in
Penny, did you
the,
get them from Kathy?
No, but I had looked at some of the ballots, and there were some old ones done, and I had gone
There's
through.
some from our election.
That I don't know those.
I mean, I know they weren't here because I just had
I didn't put any ballots in there.
Then I have a concern because then somebody has a key that's coming into the town hall and leaving records that they apparently don't have. And none of us as board members know where they came from, and there's still voting rolls missing from April of 2013, and there's documents missing from 2009. So then I would like to make the request that the lock be changed on that back door, and the only people that have a key for that is the chairman and the clerk.
I don't know that those 2009 need to be kept. I'd have to look at that.
Regardless of whether or not they're supposed to be kept, Wendy, you should have possession of them, and you're responsible for all those documents in there, and we don't have all the documents. And the reason that this was asked last time was that all of the documents were received that were in the possession of the previous town clerk. And clearly, she would have been the only one that would have had possession of the voting information. So either she still has a key or somebody brought it on her behalf that we're not aware of. But if those are supposed to be locked, then the lock needs to be changed, and the only person that should have a key is the chairman and the clerk.
Did you find things that were put in?
I need
I
a
found
key.
ballots
You
that
don't
weren't
need a
there.
key, you
I
can
need a
ask
key.
Wendy
There's
to
two
come with
boxes.
you,
I
and she
need a
can
key
open
for
it.
Blue Spring Lake meetings when they use the phone.
For the back office,
They gotta get in the
Because they-
back office to hook up the speakerphone for conference calls. That's why I have a key.
well, I have a key too, but I'm concerned that if all of us have keys and none of us brought the documents, then somebody else has a key to that room that is not sitting at this table right now,
We can,
which
we
is
can,
not
we can change the
appropriate.
locks, but I think, I
What
don't
we
see a
need is a
problem.
lockable file cabinet that Larry and Wendy have the only keys for. That's what we need back
Well,
there.
there's more documents than what's gonna fit in a lockable
Yeah,
cabinet
there's a
back there.
lot of, I mean,
There's a lot of historical documents in there that you don't want ruined either, that should be in the safe, that aren't all in the safe. And then I would make my motion again, I would like the chairman and the clerk and an IT person, as this document says, to go to the previous clerk's home and get the information off of her hard drive. My motion was approved for that last time and it was not carried out, and I'd like it carried out.
The motion was approved for Larry and Wendy to go there, not to take somebody from an IT department, and confiscate her hard drive. What purpose does it serve for her to withhold information from Wendy?
Well, that's what I'd like to know, but obviously she does have documentation that's being withheld from Wendy. Because otherwise ballots would not have appeared. She's the only other person that could have had voting information. And if she wasn't the person that had voting information, then I have a more serious concern, because then that means that personal information, birth dates, addresses, phone numbers, all of our town residents' personal information is at risk, because we don't know who had that in their possession. And that's a concern.
We can change the locks on the vault, no problem.
I've had someone
Larry?
go through everything.
Larry, did you want me to answer that question before?
No.
About the phone?
Yeah, on their board, they can have a phone call.
All you need is a dual jack, so you can plug in on either side. Then we don't have to have a key.
The one record that I went through yesterday with Deb's mom was I was looking for permanent absentee. And we looked through everything I had, and I don't have our election, where the rolls are signature. I have the absentees for that, but I could not find it in Barb, and I looked, and we could not find it. They were here and at the house. So that's what I'm missing is,
Weren't you missing stuff for the audit, and you called Kathy, and she told you where to find it in the file cabinet?
yes, but I'm telling you, I went through all the
Did
filing.
you call Kathy and ask her
I
if she
asked
knew where
her
they
where
were?
it was, and she said it's in the binder. And I found the absentee, but there still should be a voting roll there. And I have 2010 and I have the November 2012 voting roll. That's not in a book. There's a blue binder. The roll wasn't in there. but the absentees were, so that's, at that point, what I was worried about. But that's what's missing now. I mean, it's just somewhere down the road, and then I was told that you and Don were going to clean out the back room, and I have an issue with that, because I'm responsible for that.
I think you have to wait until you get the other agenda.
Oh, I thought we're on the,
No, we're in the minutes.
We're trying to get the minutes,
Okay.
we're trying to get the minutes approved.
yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, right.
That being fixed in the minutes, do we have a motion to approve them?
What did
Do
we
you know
decide
what,
to
do you
do?
know what, did you have a change you wanted to make or an explanation of the minutes, or?
Well, I wanted the explanation as to whether or not that task was completed.
Okay,
No. Yes and no.
No, it wasn't completed the way the motion was read. And I made a motion to approve the minutes with that discussion.
One second.
it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. From February 10th, all in favor?
Right.
Aye. Treasurer's report?
It's on the back. Your agendas. Those are the checks. And those are my accounts. And if you note, I have on there where it says, if anyone's wondering what PFPD is there's some money in a fund from the former fire department or district, and it's $200. And we're gonna have to, or at this point, we're coming to a point where we'll have to decide if we just wanna dissolve that.
Liquidate the account.
Yes.
Based on the treasurer's report, I'd like to make a request that at the April meeting, the agenda have an item to discuss the budget.
Any other discussion on the,
Yeah, why is there $87,000 in the EMS account at the LGIP?
Wanna tell them, Larry?
no?
Okay, back in January, I had contact LGIP to transfer the money. She sent it to me about a wire transfer. I called the bank, they said I had to do a wire transfer and contract. And I said, okay, so I went and signed the contract. And then I called Larry and found out he was in North Carolina. And I didn't know he was in North Carolina because he had to sign that. Larry then told me that wires cost $30 and he didn't want to do it. So I said, well, they said we needed to have a wire contract signed. Maybe we should sign the wire contract. You never know down the road if we need to wire something. And we'll just send a check. So I wrote out a check. Larry signed the check. That got sent. Then at one point Larry went in and I believe he thought he signed the wire contract. Instead, he signed the wire and it went to there. And today I was gonna work on transferring it. I never got to that thing because I was on with the GAB for almost 2 hours trying to.
But you didn't explain how it got transferred to us. Keep going with the explanation. You're up to the wire transfer, then what happened after that?
So, well, we had already wrote a check and sent it. So, actually I have, the papers of when I transferred it and everything.
Was it a check that was previously signed, or was it a check that was written out that Chairman Cost signed
Previous.
after the fact?
The check was, when Larry got back, we had decided we aren't sending the wire because it cost money. Although Sarah at the LGIP told me that they don't charge, but Palmyra State Bank charges, I believe, $18 for a wire. So I wrote a check, we both signed it, we sent it out. That was on last month. Then, all of a sudden, the wire went through. Larry went and signed what he believed was the wire contract,
Not a transfer.
not the transfer, but it must have been the transfer and it got transferred out.
Well, it has to be transferred into the general account, LGIP
Right.
general account.
So it was an accidental error.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had gone in first, back before we decided, before Larry told me that there was a fee for it, because that's what the LGIP said. Here, send this in, this is the procedure, you wire it. So I called the bank, I did that. So I had signed technically the paperwork. When Larry goes in, he signs it, and he thought he was signing, because they said, well, you have to have a wire contract, and then you have to sign when you do the wires. That's how it was explained to me. So when Larry went in, he believed he was signing the wire contract.
So what did we learn from this fiasco?
Read all your things before you sign.
Don't use wires.
Well,
The wires are fine as long as you know what you're signing, and you're not sending a check at the same time.
yeah, and I was like, believe me, I was kind of shocked when it came out. I was like,
We're done. Mistakes happen.
so does that explain it was a fiasco because there was a miscommunication? And when Larry went and signed what he thought was a contract, it just went out.
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report as read.
Is there a second? I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
Highway Department?
Ken will be, oh,
He's
Ken's
right
here.
Nothing new other than, snow. Which
More tomorrow.
50 degrees today was really nice.
Wait
If
till
anybody has
tomorrow.
any problems with anything out there, otherwise. Been pretty obvious, other than that, it's been quiet.
The potholes are behaving that you fixed last fall.
Yeah, so far. We'll see what, I'm sure that those roads have 6 feet of frost in them, and the next month will tell what happens with that. So. Other than that, I really don't have much.
Okay. Fire Department?
The only thing I have is I received a letter from Dave Turner regarding the titling, or retitling of the fire department vehicles so that our name and the village's name is on it. That's something we asked for them to do. They're at the point where they're ready to do that. The town's commitment to that would cost $352.50 in order to do that. Once they have a check from us, they will go ahead and retitle all of the equipment in our name. So I'll give this to me, and I think we should go ahead and,
Are there 10 vehicles?
yes, I'm pretty sure there's 10. I'll double check that before you write the check, but I'm pretty sure there are 10. And we probably want to do that before they buy new equipment, which I understand they're planning on doing 2 new pieces of equipment.
Do you need a formal motion?
I don't know, Tom, can we
That
just,
was something that we
the normal
discussed
signers,
already
the
and
normal
asked for
signers
them
of
to do,
titles, or?
So that was already voted on for them to do 11 months ago.
Right.
Right, that was already
For
approved,
them.
this is
Yes.
just carrying it out. with-
Right.
You can just sign the check.
Okay.
with $350.
Sign the titles, we issue them a check and sign the titles.
I don't think it's,
We don't have to sign.
You just have to write the check.
they're titled the village's name, so they would have to sign the title when they.
Yeah, they
sign.
have to be in the
Type
The name of
town
the
and the.
co-signer.
Yeah.
Do you want that?
They want to know how you want it titled, so let them know how you want that titled.
It'll just be Town of Palmyra.
Village of Palmyra and
Town of
Town of
Palmyra.
Palmyra.
Wendy, can you just type that up and send a letter to them stating that we wanted to be in the town along with the check?
Sure.
Are we responsible for half of any equipment they buy?
No.
Okay.
Airport, Don,
No,
nothing?
Why?
Blue Spring Lake?
They're still working on, getting the contract signed for getting the flow meters and stuff hooking into the village sewer, and finishing up with that,
Flow meters? Is that what you said?
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
correspondence?
Yeah, there were two, no, I'm doing the building inspector. We had two permits for electric. One was from Ann Ryan and one from Janice Shaw, and we received a check for $16.
That's it?
No, there's, I guess, as far as correspondence, so, I'm right here. Getting this up. Okay, the WTIA sent us a calendar. And then we received from the Demographic Service Center a survey for the calendar year of 2013 for a housing survey, and they would like this returned to them by April 4th. The DOA sent us a monthly report, and they have on here about resources for propane and broadband grants available. The zoning ordinance text amendments were on the County Board Planning and Zoning on Thursday, February 20th. Those are on our agenda. David Anick received a notice of ordinance violations for the Town of Palmyra for a property at N2406 County E.
Who's that, Wendy?
And the local government sent us their local government essentials for spring of 2014, and they have numerous classes like how to run the annual town meeting, the alcohol beverage licensing, that's May 1st, the town meeting one's March 18th, and developing the annual budget, which is July 23rd. And live attendance is $20. Live attendance and a copy of the reference materials is $35. You can also do for $28 online PDF. And then they said they have an upcoming border review series. They received a newsletter from the Jefferson County Farm Bureau. And that is it.
New business, discussion and action on conditional use for Tim and Chris Riedel. Is Chris here?
Yep. We were here last month and we got the zoning and found out we do need to have conditional approval. Our neighbors, the Sullivans, were at the meeting last time. I've called them, spoke with them, let them know where we're at, and I told her I'd give her a follow-up after tonight's meeting and let her know how things go. But we're looking for conditional use now because we will be storing contractor equipment on the property. That's my understanding.
This is on parcel 2 of the land division? Is that where that building is?
Yeah, where the building is, yes.
On the parcel was.
Yeah, not where the house is.
The A2 parcel,
mhm.
okay. Okay, I talked to Michelle at the county, and I think everything is in order, and I think we could have a motion to approve this conditional use.
I'll make a motion to approve the conditional use permit for the Riedels.
I'll second the motion.
Any more discussion? It's been moved and seconded to approve the conditional use for Tim and Chris Riedel on Hooper Road. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carried. Discussion and action on the notification for construction from CenturyLink. They're doing some construction work.
It's, I believe it's just something they send out every year, right? Is it-
I have it right here, it's just a blanket permit.
Right. So it gives them permission to go on if they. need
It's
to
a
be
construction permit for construction, operation, and maintenance of telephone lines on or along town roads and or highways. And it's something that we have to sign, so I recommend that be
I'll
approved.
make a motion that we approve the blanket permit.
I'll second the motion.
Any more discussion?
Let Tom use it.
You wanna look at it?
I'm just reviewing it, it's an authorization, right?
Mhm.
I trust they already have easements along
I think this is just more or less a renewal, I think it's
Yeah, they do
for
it
the-
every.
It's for them to maintain their phone lines in the town right of ways.
It looks fine.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No. Motion carried. Okay, discussion and action on the zoning ordinance text amendments. Now, that was just, the county, or do you want to explain it?
I don't, they just changed some.
They changed some of the text, some of the wording, and some of the zoning, some of the verbiage, and some of the different zoning categories, and that the town is subject to, so they would like us just to approve their, you went to a meeting, didn't you?
Yes.
On that?
Didn't they approve it then?
They have, the towns, 9 towns have to approve it before the county can approve it. And their meeting is tomorrow, that's why we have to act on it tonight and let them know. We can call them and let them know what our decisions were.
Will you call
Yeah, I can call them.
them? Okay. You wanna have a motion? Do a motion?
Has everybody read what they are?
Mm-hmm.
I'll make a motion to approve all 4 of these zoning text amendments for the revocation of conditional use permits, the repeal and recreate mobile tower siting, non-conforming use structures and lots, and add and modify adaptive reuse of barns.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the zoning ordinance text amendments of the county. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Discussion and action on the policy of the road committee or the town board, actually, for opening bids for road work.
What we discussed Thursday night at the highway committee meeting was, when we send the bids out, we have them come they'd come to the clerk or to myself. We would open them at a highway committee meeting on a Thursday night, and we could discuss it then, and then we could act on it the following Monday at our regular board meeting, so we don't have to go through with a special meeting like we did last year. And the highway committee meetings are open, anybody can come to them that wants to and get the information that way. And I don't think we need a motion, it's just a policy, Tom?
Right, but, well, you could approve it by a motion.
You have to approve
Okay.
the policy. I'll make a motion to approve policy for the opening bid road work as the highway committee recommended.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to follow the recommendation for the policy for opening bids and doing road work. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'd like an agenda item posted on April's meeting to discuss the funds for the road construction for this year.
And I would also like any attorney fees tied in with the roads to go on the road budget.
So you want a budget item?
I want a budget item to discuss the budget for the roads. If you do a line item for the attorney fees to go into the road maintenance budget, then you're gonna decrease your road maintenance budget. I don't know if that's such a great idea.
No,
Only because you don't have that much money as it is, as it stands.
I know what I've got.
There's a lot of forms online, Ed, that you can do.
Wendy, I've already got it done.
Well, since we're discussing that, I have a concern about that, and I'd like another agenda
It's
item put
not
on
on
the
the agenda.
April meeting to discuss the use of the attorney by the town board. That item was tabled several months ago, I'd like it resurrected. And it can be discussed because it's part of the agenda item for opening bids. It's in that agenda item, according to Carol from the WT.
So you want anything below to be put on?
Okay, discussion and action on resolution to keep permanent town records and backup of all records at the computer at the town hall.
Did the auditor also mention about getting an external hard drive and leaving it here?
Yes,
Okay.
the auditor requested a few items, the next two items that we're gonna vote on. The auditor suggested, I had a talk with the auditor for, just to have the town have policy for the auditor and the town's protection, so.
I'll make a motion to discuss the resolution of the records. My first concern is I'd like to know why a resolution was requested by the town attorney without any board discussion prior to tonight.
I didn't ask the town